Welcome to another episode of the STR Sisterhood. I'm your host, Stacy St, and I am so grateful to be spending some time with you today. Thank you for inviting me into your day. Now, in this episode, we are sitting down with the founder of Hospitable Hosts, Jodie Odlin. But before we do, you know it, I recently read a quote that I want to share with you. It says, "Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. We are all the same in this notion. The potential for greatness lives within each of us." I couldn't agree more. And those beautiful words come to us from Wilma Rudolph. Now, candidly, I had to look up who Wilma Rudolph was, and she was an American sprinter who overcame polio as a child and went on to become a world record holder. Is that not amazing? So in this episode, I am sitting down with Jodie and we're diving into not only how the Hospitable Hosts books were born, but some exciting news that I cannot wait to share with you. So be sure to stay around for the end. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Jodie. So we are here with one of my favorite people on the planet, Miss Jodie Odlin. Jodie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Stacy, and that's very nice to hear that I'm one of your favorite people on the planet. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I'm so excited about this interview because, you know, I think so many folks in our industry look at Hospitable Hosts as being this most amazing set of books. And I'm excited to hear the stories of the woman behind the books. So thank you for coming on and sharing it with our listeners and viewers. So let me just back up to the very beginning, even before the books were born. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started in the world of short-term rentals.
Yeah, sure. So, where do we start? So I have been a host for 8 years, coming on to my 9th year now. And you could say I was an accidental host, or I became an accidental host, where I moved to the UK. You can probably hear from my accent that I'm Australian. I was living in Europe and it was time for my children to finish their education. So we moved to the UK, and the property that we were renting had a spare little cottage next to it. And we're in the countryside of the place called the Cotswolds, if anyone knows it. It's that little quintessential stone cottages, green rolling hills, what you think of England. And in fact, the king lives in the town that where my properties are. So we were living there and we had this property and we thought, what are we going to do with it? And I said to my family, let's try this Airbnb thing. And we had just done 2 years of extensive travel before that. I'd taken the children out of school, so we had stayed at all sorts of accommodation. And I do have a hospitality trained background. I used to work in 5-star hotels. So I was able to use those skills to set up a property that I thought would be a lovely place for people to visit. And it sure was. People came from all around the UK. It was a really beautiful area, lovely, comfortable place. It wasn't luxurious. It wasn't mine, so I couldn't do structural changes. I was just renting it. And that's where I started. My children were my first team. We used to say that was our holiday fund, the money that we were making from that. And they used to come in when people checked out and help clean and prepare the cottage for next guests. And because it was right next to our house, we got a lot of interaction with our guests as well. So it was nice for them to see and host people and see that we were creating memories for other people. And I think they really enjoyed it for a couple of years. And then they decided that there was no more bathroom cleaning at all. They went off to university, and I'm happy to say my son can now clean the bathroom very well. And he was very excited when he would get a 5-star review of cleanliness. So that's how it started.
You were excited too.
Yeah, I was too. No, they did a really great job. So no, I was too. And then let's fast forward into lockdown, that wonderful time, or not for some, for most. I had time to stop and kind of poke around on the internet, and I came across somebody who was doing educational videos on YouTube about arbitrage. And I'd never heard of that model before. And I set out to find properties in my local village, because I was a little bit outside of the village. I was in the countryside, and just a couple of miles in, I found some properties, and I pitched to the owners that I would take care of their property and it would be professionally cleaned. And how I got some of them over the line was, it was their second home, and they were very, these cottages are so special. It was 500, up to 500 years old, and they were quite emotionally attached to them. So to get some of them over the line, I'd say, oh, well, you know, you can come and stay for 5 nights out of the year, complimentary, because they didn't want to quite give up their ability to go and enjoy the cottage themselves. And that's how that started. And now I have 15 properties, and yes, that's enough. I'm not looking to scale. I run it from the other side of the world. I'm now located back in Australia, and I have a great team over there, which helps me, and some great AI software. And that's the story of how I got into hosting.
I love that. I love that. I also want to ask you about your hospitality background, because as you know, I got into the world of short-term rentals from the real estate investment play. So I was investing in long-term rentals and doing flips and all that kind of fun stuff. And when I purchased my first, actually 2 short-term rentals at the same time, I very quickly fell in love with this industry. Like nothing I had ever, fallen in love with regarding real estate. I learned, obviously, that this was so much more than a real estate investment. That,
absolutely,
it gives me goosebumps, because you really have the ability to impact someone and their family when they're coming to stay with you. They're making lifelong memories in your properties. And it's almost like the intangible feeling that it makes you feel so good to be able to be a part of someone's journey. I learned the art of hospitality through the lens of short-term rentals. I'm curious, from your perspective, having come from a hospitality background, what do you see in the short-term rental industry that you're like, ooh, I wish folks would do that differently? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think, well, I know a lot of people that I surround myself with are hospitality focused as well. They would maybe describe themselves as, hospitality experts with heart, rather than property investors and so on. But as you say, and I think many of your listeners would have come into this industry through the property market or investment side of things, hospitality skills are a learned skill. So I went to college and learned about it for 4 years. I worked in 5-star hotels around the world. I went through training programs with big companies like Hyatt, Millennium, Four Seasons. So I have learned the art to listen. I think that's really important to our guests, and to act on and communicate then and there when things go wrong. It's all about communication. I think it's not just the clean sheets and the clean property. It's looking after their journey from the moment they see your property online to, their booking, their stay, and even when they depart, like it's following up, giving good hospitality even then and inviting them back again, because we all want those repeat guests, don't we? So from that point of view, I've met many, many people, and that's probably what's going to bring us into the next part of this conversation. Is I thought it was so fascinating at how people could be, 1, get into our industry, and 2, be very good at it, but come from all different walks of life. And that's where the idea for this came about. That kind of segment.
There you go.
Right at
there
the right
you go.
time.
So the Hospitable Hosts book, where so you saw people coming together, all walks of life, all around the world, different backgrounds, getting into this hospitality space. What made you wake up one day and say, I want to produce a book with authors from all around the world? Like, how did that come to life?
Yeah. So through lockdown, many things have changed my life through lockdown. I started networking online, and I was in a women's entrepreneurial group with people all around the world. And it was actually one of the ladies in that group. She was a publisher, and she was putting together this multi-author book called Legacy Speaks, and she asked me to be a part of it. And I wasn't a writer. I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to read my story. And that's fascinating. That's a story in itself. But, and so I participated in that, and I had such a great experience, and it created such a great community of women that would never have met otherwise. And then when I started meeting people online through Clubhouse, various webinars to do with short-term rentals, and listening to their stories, I thought, wow, it would be really great to do a book like I was in. And so I contacted the publisher. I signed my life away, and that was it. I started networking with people, and even you, and just saying, hey, would you like to be in a book? And I was really grateful that people shared my vision, and they wanted to share their story, not only for their own legacy, but to inspire other people to come into our industry and to be professionals in our industry. I think that's really important. So we have people in the book that are industry leaders, which I never expected. We have people with one property. We have people with 350 properties. So I just started contacting people, and I think the first person that actually signed up and agreed to come into the book, I met in a bathroom at an event in London. And she said, oh, hi, how are you? And I said, oh, I'm good. This is me. And would you like to be in a book? And that was Sally. And then from there, it just snowballed. And people, as I said, people loved the idea. And you were in volume 1. And as you know, that was the start of everything. And then from there, once the book was published, it became a #1 bestseller around the world, and everyone celebrated around the world. We had book launches everywhere, parties, get-togethers. It was a really humbling experience to see how much it meant to people to become a published author. And when we did our first book launch in London, I had people hugging me in tears, and I had fulfilled their dreams of becoming a published author that they had dreamt about since being a little child and just scribbling down notes. So that was quite personal to me. And then once that was out, people started contacting me and saying, I've read the stories and I really resonated with this person, and now I've got my first short-term rental. And in fact, Helen, who read the first book, is now in the second book because of reading the book. She went out and bought herself an old Girl Guide summer camp up in upstate New York, and it's just touched so many people's lives. So then #2 was born, and then that was a big seller as well. And then #3 was born. And I think we could keep going 4, 5, 6. We're going to be like the Rocky, the Rocky trilogy. Well, I don't even know what you call it when you get that so many. So, so that was it. That's it, Stacy. That's it in a nutshell.
So fun. I'm curious how this journey with publishing these books has changed your life. Talk to us about that.
I don't know where to start with that. My life is completely different to where it was 3 years ago, only 3 years ago. I now, from publishing the books, I'm connected with the most amazing group of people who support, as I say, my vision in many, many other projects. Hospitable Hosts isn't just the books anymore. It's so much more. And so much that if you would like to have a look, just go onto the website, hospitablehost.com. I think that's the easiest way. But we have training programs and we have meetups, and we've just had our first summit in Colorado, an in-person summit, which you spoke at, which was amazing. We had lots of great people speaking all about hospitality. And that's the angle where Hospitable Hosts loves to talk about, or the community members in Hospitable Hosts love to talk about hospitality, because it is a skill that our industry needs to embrace. And to be able to become professional, I think you really do need to level up your hospitality skills. So we're trying to bring that into the industry. I speak at events. I travel around the world. I'm still running my short-term rental business. As I said, relocated to Australia. My personal life has changed as well. Every aspect of it has changed. I've won an award, which was like out of this world, a global award. And I'm just so privileged to be in this position.
Yeah,
I feel that way.
I'm curious if you would have looked back, let's say back up to 5 years ago. Okay, so the book started 3 years ago. Back up to 5 years ago. Would you have ever dreamed that you would be doing what you are today?
No. And I think I get asked that question a lot, because people have a 5-year plan. But I was a busy mom with 3 kids, running them everywhere, all teenagers, going here, there, and wherever, living in the countryside. So it was a lot of driving, a lot of maneuvering. I never, ever would have thought I would be in this position now. No. And I would love to have said that in my 5-year plan, I had this, but I didn't. And I think that's really important for your listeners to hear, because everyone thinks they've got to have this plan. They've got to follow an idea. You don't know what's going to come up. But if you say yes, or if you take up opportunities, don't be afraid to say yes. And also don't be afraid to say no as well. I probably overstretched myself in a lot of areas because I was caught up in it all and I wanted everything to happen then and there and then. But I think no, Stacey, it's my mind's racing as you asked me that. It's never, ever, ever did I think I would be doing that.
The reason why I asked that question and that I want to bring that up is because I think so often, especially as women, we are looking to have everything figured out in advance, right? And that's commendable. And I'm all about strategy first and planning before planting, like that. I'm all about that. However, same thing. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, would you ever dream that you'd be doing what you are today? I would be saying, you're crazy. Like, no way. No way. So I share that because it does not matter where you are today. You might have a plan for your future, and that's awesome. However, trust your gut and your intuition. I call it your God rod. Your God rod will lead you naturally and organically to people and opportunities that you may not have had in your 5-year plan, right?
Oh, totally agree. Yeah. The God rod I love that expression, but yes, trust it. You will know when these opportunities come up, if they're the right or the wrong ones. And look, we all make mistakes as well, and that's okay. That's all in the learning. That's life lessons.
Yeah.
but you can't always have it figured out. And I know you say you're strategic and you have your strategies. Well, I kind of don't. I just kind of go with what comes up in front of me. And that was the case with the summit. Someone rang me and said, "Would you like to do an in-person event?" And I thought, yeah, I think I would. I think I could carry that off. "Would you like to do it in Colorado?" I'm like, yeah, that's a nice place to visit. I've been there once. It's an international hub where people can go. Yeah, I think that would be okay. And I've worked it out from there. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to have everything in place. And, as you say, listen to your intuition, hear your guides if that's what you're into. Ideas come into your head. A lot of my ideas come into my head in the shower. I have a scribble pad right there on the glass in the steam. In fact, I was doing that this morning.
Okay, wait. You have a scribble pad in the shower. I need to know details about this.
Well, it's not a scribble pad per se. It's the glass screen and it fogs up because I have a very hot shower. And once I write it down on the screen, it kind of embeds itself in my head. So I'm always doing figures and writing ideas and sorting stuff out in the shower. So whether it's meditation or sitting or in the shower, find your space and just work it out.
Hey girl, if you've ever thought about taking back control from Airbnb, you're not alone. And Lodgify is the tool to do it. Did you know that with Lodgify, you can create your own stunning direct booking website, manage everything from guest communication to payments all in one place, and finally say goodbye to the high OTA fees? Now, here's the best part. STR Sisterhood listeners, you get 20% off all yearly plans, plus free personalized onboarding that's worth over $3,000. Just use code STRSH20 and start building your business your way. Yeah. I want to know what your hot water bill is if you take those showers where you're figuring out stuff on the glass door.
Yeah, we have solar. Yeah.
I want to go back to something that you said, because I think that this is also something that is so incredibly important, is you decide you want to do something. So again, in my book, Live Big, I talk about commit, be, do. And a lot of people try to accomplish their goals. They try to do something. Instead, when you decide to do something, it's a much different mindset.
Totally. I remember, because I have published other people's books as well as my own. And I remember one of the book partners saying to me, "So what's the risk analysis here?" And I said, "Risk analysis? I don't have a risk analysis." And she said, "Well, what if it doesn't work?" And I said, "It will work and will work until it works." So that's kind of my, I think, inbuilt philosophy that I have with anything. I do put in the hours. It doesn't come easy. Like, I don't sit on the beach and have cocktails. I'm working. Even for this, I was up at 5:00 this morning. We're talking early. Because I have to deal with all of the different time zones with the people in the community and people who want to talk to me. It's long hours. Like the past 6 months before the summit, it virtually took over my life. But I'm at that stage of my life where I can do that because my children are all grown up. I wouldn't have been able to do this 5 years ago. I have a very supportive partner who brings me cups of tea and, allows me to be focused when I need to be. So, with all of that in place, I just think it's really important to see where you are at this stage of your life as well. Because when you are a busy mum, you can't do what I'm doing at the moment. You couldn't put on a conference. But you could collaborate with somebody that has, or that is wanting to, or just look at those people and, plan out what you want to do for later when you're at that stage. I think that's important, Stacey. we see people doing these things. Like you and I are both around the same age and the same stage of our lives where we can do these things. But 5, 6, 10 years ago, I would never have been able to do it because that's the stage of life that I was at.
Sure. Sure. And I think too, recognizing that there are seasons of life, right?
Yes.
And being okay.
I like that. Seasons. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Seasons of life. Absolutely.
So, and being okay with that. I, just talking about being a mom, I remember when my kids were little. Now, this has nothing to do with the topic that we're talking about, but, I'll just tell you the story really quickly. When my kids were little, like babies, I remember as a young mom wishing for the next phase of, oh gosh, I can't wait until they can, crawl or walk, I can't wait until they can talk. I can't wait until, and I remember my mom saying to me, Stacy, don't wish their lives away. They're you're gonna blink and they're gonna be gone. And, I learned so many phenomenal lessons from my own mom. And I look at the same type of thing in our businesses and evolution as business owners.
Yes.
We have seasons where we might be in hustle season, where we're launching a property or launching a new product or putting on a summit, and don't wish that time away. But equally enjoy the journey, regardless of what season you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you're going down a path and it's not really the right one, and you've got to maybe try and navigate yourself, try and see what lessons you've learned in that along that bump as well. Like, it's not all straight for anybody. And if anyone tells you that, they're lying because it's not. And just, I say to my now young adults, you can't plan everything in your life. You have to be open for things to come in, things to come out, changes. And that's where I think people do get too caught up in, when they're so set on these 5-year plans and it doesn't happen, they get disappointed and don't see it as a disappointment. See what was the opportunity that you could have learned from. And it does sound like a cliche, but now that we're wise old women, we can let your listeners know that, because I think that's really important to listen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, we just said absolutely at the same time. That's fun.
Snap.
I used to, when I was a kid, it was pinch, poke, yo me a Coke. Did you have
no?
You said
I've never heard of that.
Time as someone else. Did you have any phrases?
We'd say like snap. Okay. Like the card game Snap?
No, I've never played that.
Oh, I'll teach you that one. It's a very basic.
Is that an Australian card game? Do we have Snap in the States, I wonder?
I don't know. We'll have to do some investigating on that one.
We'll have to do some research. Well, I will share with you, you may not even know this, but it was because of being a participant in Hospitable Hosts Volume 1, where I even I never had a dream of writing a book. Like, as a kid, I never even dreamed of writing a book. But once I was in Hospitable Hosts Volume 1, I started thinking, like, I think it'd be really cool to write a book. And I remember talking to you about it, and you're like, what would you want to write it on? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. And isn't it funny how different experiences plant seeds, right? Plant seeds for our future. So thank you for being
you're welcome.
Of my seed.
You're welcome. And many of the other Hospitable hosts have done the same, haven't they? There's quite a number of them. And I think being in a multi-author book, you get a little snippet of what it is like to share part of your life story, or, to be able to share with readers and inspire them to do something or to be better in something, or just that people do then come into a multi-author book and think, oh, I could write my own book. And now with Amazon and so on, other publishing houses, it's much easier than going down the traditional route where you would hear people would take 5 years to write their book. And, I don't quite understand that. I think those people have a lot of imposter syndrome sitting on their shoulder, because it is, yes, it can be confronting, as you know, writing a book, not just a chapter, but now your own book. It can be confronting. It's like, what am I right? I think my story is good, but is anyone else going to think it's good? Are they going to get value out of it when they read it? Like, who's going to buy it? It's all those things that pop into your head. So congratulations to you for going the next step. And it's such a great book and it's very successful, I know. And you are changing lives because, people are reading it and learning how to think big. And that's what you need to do in life. Just think big, be open to everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's, thank you. I think for me, I did feel all those things, when I was writing. You, of course, want to write things that you want to help other people, right? That was my goal. The whole impetus for my book was inside my STR Success Accelerator program. I was doing a goal setting session and realized from that session, I need to incorporate mindset into my coaching because I personally have done a ton of mindset work myself, but I never really incorporated that into what I was teaching. And it was actually a mentor of mine who said that, you need to start incorporating mindset work into your coaching. And so I thought, okay, great. Well, if I get everything out of my brain that I've learned and worked on myself, now I could actually not only help the ladies inside my amazing program, but I could help other people too, right? So I think that even from being in the Hospitable Hosts book, you still have the ability to impact someone else's life. And I think that that's so incredibly special.
Oh, absolutely. Like the stories that now have gone on from the original stories, like I would love to do a follow-up where it's like, where are they now?
Yeah.
And in fact, we're going to be doing something around that in the form of a podcast. And it's like, because people have progressed so much since telling their stories. Now, I'm not just saying in the short-term rental world, but their whole world has changed. They were able to see their lives and their journey in a different way and reflect on it with others. And I think that's important. Coming together as a community really, really enhanced that. But it's these stories, your life stories, when your listeners just after listening to this, just sit for 5 minutes with a pen and paper and just write down some things that you're really proud about that have happened in your life. And maybe even write down 5 points that you think you could have done better in life and how you could do that. And when you actually stop and sit and reflect on your life, you'll see what a remarkable journey you've had so far, just to come to get to this point. And it's not my journey or Stacy's journey, it's your own journey. And, people have a lot of trauma, people have a lot of celebrations. And, but if you write it down and actually see it in paper, it's like, oh my gosh, like that's me, that's who I am. Yeah. So it's a really good task, whether you want to become an author or not. Just take some time to sit and reflect on where you are in your journey as a human being right now.
Yeah. And additive to that, one of the things that I am so passionate about is helping people understand the importance of celebrating their wins, right? It's so easy for us to find the tough things or the things we've done wrong. But boy, oh boy, is it more difficult to find the things that, gosh, that is a win. I did in that situation, or
yes,
a win doesn't have to be something huge. It can be a small bit of progress that you've made, something that you've learned, a situation.
Sure.
Well,
yeah, it could be just making your bed in the morning, or creating a lovely meal from a new recipe that you've followed. It doesn't have to be, as you say, winning an award or anything like that. Just little things. And like being Australian, we have a thing over here called the tall poppy syndrome. And that's where when you've done something good, you don't tell people, because people kind of say, well, who do you think you are? And then when living in the UK and on that side, people, oh, no, we don't talk about ourselves. So for me to be able to even talk to you about all these things that I've done, it's kind of interesting in my own psyche. But I've learned actually from hanging around all you amazing Americans that it is a good thing. And then once you do start talking and sharing, then the person next to you will start talking and sharing. And then that whole ripple effect happens. And before you know it, you've got this amazing community of people that are like-minded, not only in short-term rentals, but the way that you think or that you can learn from. It's like, oh, why don't I think like that? Or maybe I should try that. So just get out there and start listening and talking to people. And for me, that didn't come easy to me either. I really had to push myself. It's like networking with people. That doesn't come easy to me. I'm kind of, people often see me at conferences and so on, and I'm just sitting on my own and I'm listening and I'm taking it all in, and that's more who I am rather than, hey, I'm Jodie. Right. This is what I do and so on. You don't have to be that extrovert person. Just take those little steps to, turn up, show up, and just be present, and the magic will happen.
Yeah. Love that. Well, one thing that I'm so excited to even announce on this interview is that you and I are both so passionate about our communities. I know, being a member of the Hospitable Hosts community, how special that is. And I am so grateful for all the amazing women in my STR Sisterhood community.
Yes.
And
I want to just stop there. Like, do you, I'm going to ask you a question. I know this is your podcast, but do you often stop and think what you've done? Like, everyone who's listening, this is Stacy St. John. She heads up a group of women that is in the thousands. Like, that's incredible. You change lives. Honestly. Give yourself a pat on the back, Stacy St. John.
I love how you say my last name. And I tell you what, today I have had 2 incredible messages from people saying thank you for changing my life. And it's in moments like that where it's like, wow, you.
And that keeps you going.
I mean, get emotional about it because I don't do it. I don't do what I do to get kudos from other people. I do it because it feels good. And I love feeling good. Right?
Yes.
And that sounds so weird. I know it.
No, it doesn't, because I'm exactly the same. Exactly. Yeah. And I think there were, as when you say what's happened in my life, this last 3 years has been a massive journey, not just in the Hospitable Host community and on all of that with my short-term rentals, but personally, I've gone down a massive journey. I've got divorced. I've got a new partner. I've got my kids spread all over the world. With that being said, there were times that I could have given up. It's like, oh my God, this is so hard. This is all too hard. And if it wasn't for the community that, one, felt I was responsible to give or deliver what I had promised, and 2, to be surrounded by some awesome women and men as well. It's not just the women. I wouldn't be where I am today. And I truly mean that. People, give me all the kudos for Hospitable Hosts and so on, but without the other people that shared the vision and rally around me and support me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So if any of those are listening, I'm always grateful and say I'm, very thankful for them. And I hope they realize how with them coming into my life, how that changed my life as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And like you said, the power of the people around you, sometimes they don't even know it. They don't even know the impact that they're making. So that's so special.
Exactly.
I think one of the things that I am so excited to talk about next is kind of a conglomeration of two communities, which is a next version of Hospitable Hosts that is the STR Sisterhood edition. And I am so over the moon excited about this project.
Me too.
So essentially, we are doing another version of Hospitable Hosts where we are featuring exclusively stories from women. And I think that is so special, Jodie, for so many reasons. And so I want to thank you for bringing it to life and for allowing this amazing collaboration to unfold, because I think so often women, especially, may not realize the power of their story. Right.
Yes,
and so I'm really, really excited about the authors that will be coming into this book. We'll have 40 authors in this book. And I'm very excited about having them have the ability to share their story.
Yeah, me too. I am so delighted that we're collaborating on this together, and we're going to have a global group of women come together and share their stories. So that in itself is amazing, to hear my story from Australia, to yours in America, over in Europe. Everybody's lives are completely different. So to blend that and then to bring in the short-term rental aspect into it. And I know when I speak or listen to people's stories throughout the world, they're all very similar. We are in terms of the struggles that we've gone through with short-term rentals. But how did you actually get there? That's what we want to know. How did you get to be in this world of short-term rentals? And what struggles you as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, whoever you are in this world, like what you've had to get through to be where you are today. And that is really inspiring to other people, because people think they're caught up in these horrible situations and it's only happening to them. But it's also a way, as you say, that we can celebrate the wins as well and all come together as a community. And I'm really delighted to be working with you on this one and bringing in some of the most amazing women who'd love to share their stories with us and the world.
I know. I'm so excited. So I will just share in the show notes, we will drop a link to a page if you are listening or watching and if you want more information or you would like to be involved. Feel free to check out the link and reach out to us, because I think, Jodie, again, this is going to be so special. So I'm super excited.
Yes. And when are we launching it, Stacy? I think that's...
OMG, International Women's Day 2026. Yes. So
yes, I think we're going to have 40 new published authors and 40 amazing women that are going to join both of our communities. Stacy, as you know, has an amazing community in Hospitable Hosts, and we're bringing them together for this project. So absolutely thrilled to be working with Stacy. And we were going to sing today, but Stacey's got the singing voice and I don't. So we'll just say, Lord. It's fantastic.
Great singing voice because I've treated. I'm here to tell you, Jodie has a great singing voice. She and I trade voice messages every so often, and I heard this hello, and I'm like, Jodie, girlfriend, you've got it. I love it.
That's my princess singing. I used to do it to my kids in the morning. Good morning. It's time to get up.
There you go.
My Mary Poppins voice.
I love it. Okay. So I want to move to the lightning round. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions and I'll just ask you to answer with the very first thing that comes to mind.
Sure.
First question is, where is your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, gosh. That is very difficult because I have traveled extensively. The beach. I'm going to say the beach. I love to swim in the ocean. So I'm not naming a place, but the location. But then again, I love hiking in the mountains. Anywhere. Stacey, anywhere. I actually don't vacation. I travel a lot and I'm always working. So anywhere.
Okay.
Anywhere would be nice.
We need to get you on a vacation for sure.
Yes.
And I was just in Cannes, France recently and recognized that there's mountains and the beach like right there. So have you ever been?
I have. Yes, I have.
You are quite the world traveler. All right. Next question is, what's one place you've never been that you want to visit?
Oregon.
What? Okay.
Yeah. I just saw photos of it the other day and I thought, wow, that looks really beautiful. I've never been.
It is so beautiful. And I think you are the first person who's ever given me that answer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Either there or somewhere tropical.
Okay. All right.
Where the
I
beach
love it.
is. Yeah.
Well, all of my Oregon friends invite Jodie.
Thank you.
All right. Now, next question is, what's one thing you know now that you wished you knew when you were starting out, either in the world of short-term rentals or starting out producing Hospitable Hosts? You can pick your answer.
It's that same old thing that it's going to work out. Don't stress. Don't worry about it. Don't lie in bed thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Is it going to work? It'll all work out some way.
I think that worry is one of the most wasteful things we can do.
Sure.
And it drains us energy-wise. It drains our joy. I'm not saying that there aren't situations that are challenging that are worrisome, but I believe in focusing energy in finding solutions versus just worrying. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. There's no point. And as we know, our brains are wired that if you are worrying and stressed, your brain thinks you are in that situation. So you're better off thinking about beautiful things that bring you joy, singing, remembering great times with your family. Like put your energy into those things and rather than thinking about all the negative things. Absolutely. Honestly, the last 3 years, if I had just sat and thought about all the negative things, I'd be in a funny farm at the moment. but you just can't. Like,
So true. So true. All right. Next question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Trust my intuition. I didn't know I was so intuitive. It's those feelings that you get. It's the nerves in the tummy. It's, thoughts that come into your head for no reason at all. And you think, how did they get there? Don't try and think how, just try and listen to them. And I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
For everybody, whether you're into woo-woo stuff or not into woo-woo stuff, you have those thoughts and feelings for a reason, and you have to learn to sit in the present. time and understand why you're having those.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And for me, again, I liken that to, I talk about my God rod. Again, I'm a believer. And so for me, if I'm ever feeling uncertain about something and I can't really put my finger on why, my go-to is I pray about it, right? So I will pray for clarity and, whether that is something that if you're listening or watching, if you believe in that, I would encourage you to try it. Just try it and see if that helps. I'm never one to push my faith on anyone, but for me, it's made a huge difference.
Sure. Well, for me, I meditate. So I do it quite often. Maybe recently, not as often as I would like to, but I know when there's those times that I'm really trying to get through something, I meditate. I listen to a guy called Joe Dispenza. You can find him on YouTube. Just do a morning meditation. It sets you up for the day, and you can get clarity in those moments that you're saying that you pray. That's what I would do. People journal, people go for a walk. Just find that thing that really sparks your joy. And then when you're in that mindset, it's much easier to get through the bad times.
Love that. All right, last question.
Okay.
What one thing and or person that you're grateful for today?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. It's my family. I have to say my family every day. And my family obviously is a group of people, not just one. It's my family. My kids teach me something every day still. And it's actually even better now that they're older because they're doing their own things, got their own specialties, and they teach me. It's my mom and dad. My mom, I'm very grateful. I still have my mom and dad alive. It's my partner. He supports me like I've never had before. I'm going to say my family.
Amazing. Jodie, obviously, again, we will drop the link to the information about the STR Sisterhood edition of Hospitable Hosts. In addition, if folks are interested in learning more about you or connecting with you, what's the best place for them to find you online?
Hospitablehost.com. You can see it's a great website with all the authors on there and tells you who they are and how you can purchase the books if you'd like to purchase the books. And also we have an Instagram page at Hospitable Hosts, which we promote all of everything that we're doing in our community. So those two places are the best. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for being an amazing inspiration for women all around the world. And
you're welcome.
Thank you for being an amazing collaborator because we're going to have
you. Thank you.
We're going to have a ball.
No, we are going to have a ball. It's I just want to say, like, when somebody comes into a multi-author book, it's not as though we just say write your story and submit it. We actually, you come into the project, and I think this is important. Maybe we should talk about, you come into the project and we give you all the guidance and training, and we work together as a group, and we celebrate together as a group as well. And so if you are interested, contact me through the website. My email's on there. Even if you just want to share your story with me and say, is my story good enough? Or what do you think about this? I'm very open. I love hearing people's stories. I love connecting with people. So just reach out. I'm happy to listen. Was my going back to my first thing, listening skills. I had good listening skills.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Good to see you. And I know we'll see each other soon.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Stacy. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Now, before you go, I just want to personally share with you how excited I am about the STR Sisterhood version of Hospitable Hosts. And if you want to participate, feel free to click the link in the show notes, submit your information, and we cannot wait to connect with you.